Hello, welcome to AuditFY. Our website is audify.in. In the website, you can log in with your user credentials here. Once you log in, you'll get the dashboard here where the summary of all your compliances, to-do list, your UDINs, DSCs, assessments, and your billing will be displayed here. So first, to set up your account, you can go to settings and company. So this is information is of your company, the CA company. So you can have more than one company. You can add your details like your GST number, your bank account details, address, etc. So this will be used for all your billing and invoices. To set up client details, you can come to client. You can click on add. So I will add client here. You can give a client code, client GST number. You can add all the details like GST number, Udyam number, PAN number, all such things you can add. You can add the details of your client's address. Here you can add user ID passwords for different things. So example if this is GST password, so your all the passwords, you can keep a track of all your passwords of the client. Ownership details, details of directors, etc. can be added. So the designation can be added here, whether it's a director, trustee, partner, proprietor, shareholder, or authorized signatory, anything. DIN number can be added. PAN of the director, individual PAN. Begin date and end date is the joining date of this person in the company or in the entity. So directors may retire or join freshly. So those dates can be provided here. End date when the directorship ends, it can be given. DSC status, whether the DSC is available with CA or client, can be mentioned here. And DSC password also can be mentioned. So these details can be edited later on also as and when there are any changes. In the services, you have main broad category, example GST, income tax, company law, payroll, etc. Under each category again you have the specialized services. So you can select which services you are providing for this client. So example, if I am providing GST filing services, it can be mentioned here. I am providing GST audit also. These amounts are the fees that you are charging. So you can edit the fees here, how much you are charging for the client. So this can differ from client to client, and you can edit it. So similarly, under income tax, maybe you are giving TDS filing, TCS filing, tax audit services to the client. You are providing ESI, PF filing, payroll, PT, etc. So which and all services you are providing, those you can activate. In the bank tab, you can add the bank account details of the client. So this will be useful for accounting of the client. So I'll explain full details. I'll explain the full details of accounting, how this is used when we come to application accounting. Compliance part. So again, you need to choose which compliance you are providing for this client. So automatically all compliance will be activated. You can deactivate whichever you are not providing. So these are all the details that you can enter in a client master data. In services, in case you are requiring any additional services to be added, the same can be added in settings and here service. In settings, master service, you can add service which will the broad classification, as well as under each category you can add classification with SSE code and everything. And you can set the GST rate also for the services. So under masters you have services as well as SSE codes. If you want to add any more, you can add with the description. Member type, that is whether a person is a director in a company or partner in a partnership firm. If in case more categories are required, you can always add member type. Credentials are your user ID passwords. In case anything more is required, you can add. Compliance type, so which compliance you are providing regularly for the clients, may it be TDS or quarterly GSTR 3B or monthly GSTR 3B, PT, PF. And departments, this is used for assessments. Any departments you want, you can add. Now I'll come to how to create staff user ID. So whenever any new joinees are incoming in your office, you can create a user ID for them by adding their details. You can add the email ID that they will be using, from which they will be joining. You can set the password for them. So you can give the user ID and password to your staff. Once you have added, you need to activate the staff user ID. Once staff leaves your company, you can deactivate. So you can activate or deactivate anytime. So these are all the settings that we have. Now I'll come to application. So first is the billing. So in the summary, you will have the full summary of that financial year. This is financial year wise. So in this financial year, how much pro forma are yet to be received, how much invoices that you have raised or which are pending for receipts, and how many receipts in this year you have realized. Again, you have summary by client wise. In case I need to, if you want to add any pro forma invoices, you can add pro forma here. So from which company you are billing them, you can select here. You can select the client invoice, whether I'm raising pro forma or directly I'm raising invoice. You can select here. Pro forma date, maybe I said I'll raise on 10th, and place of service for GST purpose. So when I submit, I can add here service. So for which service you are creating the invoice. So processing of monthly payroll. You can edit the description here. Maybe I'll add the month and how much I'm charging. If in case there is a change in amount, you can edit the amount here. Whether tax is applicable or not, in case there are SEZ or exports under LUT, their tax may not be applicable. You can select tax. Based on the place of service, CGST or IGST will be automatically calculated on the percentage that you are given for this SSE code. Submit. So we have the new invoice here, pro forma invoice. So you can always view or edit. You can download it in PDF. So your bill will be available in PDF. You can take a print and sign and send, or you can send a mail directly from here. Now if I want, this is a pro forma invoice, and if I want to raise the final invoice for this, I can just click here, create invoice. It will ask for confirmation, submit. In the invoice, it would have come here. You can change the date in case required. You can change the amounts in case required, and again you can download the same. So this was a pro forma invoice. This is the final invoice. Again, this invoice can be sent here directly to the client's mail ID from here. Now when I'm receiving the payment for this, I can create a receipt also from here directly. So how much I'm receiving in cash or bank. So client has deducted 1000 TDS. Submit. So in the receipt also it will be mentioned. All these pro forma invoice and receipts can again be filtered by client. Client wise I can filter, since there is no pro forma now pending. But otherwise, if I want to see only these clients pending pro forma invoices, I can see here. Or company wise. Company wise is your billing company. So how many invoices of finance body are pending? How many invoices of professionals are pending? Same thing with invoice, client wise and company wise filters are available. And same thing in receipts. So this is regarding billing. Next I'll come to compliance. In compliance, you can keep track of all the compliances that are happening for all your clients. So when we have selected specific compliances for the clients in master data, here monthly the cards will be generated for that particular client, whichever is applicable, and your staff, as and when they are filing, can enter the details of the compliances that they are doing. So example, supposing I have filed the GSTR 3B of this client today. So filing date I'll put as 14th. I'll mention filed. Reference, the ARN number whatever will be generated can be mentioned here. How much SGST tax was paid? Say 9,000 SGST, 9,000 CGST was paid, and 18,000 IGST was paid. Suppose any late fees or anything paid, I can mention here. Maybe 1 day delay was there filing last month, and any interest paid, if at all, and I can submit. So these are all color coded. So any purple color, this means it is filed within due date. Any blue color, light blue color, means it is filed but it is filed after due date. this yellow color means it is not yet filed but due date is not yet over. Red means the due date is over but it is not yet filed or complied with. So here, based on the client code that you are given, all the summary of that financial year will be readily available. You can further view the details of that client by clicking on the client. It will be opened here. So for this client, I'm only providing GST services. So how much the client is paying month on month wise. So a summary will be visible here, GSTR 1 as well as 3B. So you can keep a track of the client's business, how it is running and everything easily here. So these cards are created monthly based on the schedule that is provided in compliance type here. So based on this, it will be generated and your staff can enter the details. Here also filters are available for financial year wise as well as client wise as well as compliance wise. I want to see tomorrow is the due date for PF. I want to see all the PF which are filed, which are not filed, or I want to see just the GSTR 3B or GSTR 1. I can filter and see. Next comes UDIN. So as and when UDINs are generated in the UDIN ICI website, we don't have details of client, and sometimes some CS like to not put client details in the UDIN website. Here you can keep track of all your UDINs. So in case required, you can bulk import the details from your ICI website. In ICI website, you can download in Excel format and you can import the same file here. Or as and when the UDIN is generated, your staff can enter the details here. So for example, I have done a 15 CB today, suppose. These all details are exactly the same as in the UDIN website. Same options are provided here. So document date, today's date, 15 CB for, say, the payment was done to Brightco. Invoice number I can mention. So particulars as and what particular 1, 2, 3 what you provide in your UDIN website, the same can be provided here. So maybe say amount payable in USD, TDS deducted, UDIN, whatever UDIN is generated, and UDIN generation date. UDIN may have been generated same day or a later date also. We have 60 days to generate the UDIN and update it in the website. So maybe it was generated on the same day. I will submit it here. The details have come here. Also, you can see here created by. So you can see who has entered these details, which of your staff. So since I have logged in from admin account and have entered, it will show me the compliance. In case you want to see further action, you can always see here. And in case it is revoked, any UDIN is revoked, revocation date you can mention here, and revocation reason also you can mention here. Once it is revoked, it will be shown here as a cancelled UDIN, a revoked UDIN. Details, in case anyone wants to see, can see here. So here also you have filters, that is client wise filters. You have how many UDINs of that client were generated, and also financial year UDINs you have. Next comes DSE. So here you can keep a track of all the DSCs that you have. So DSCs you may have, or client himself may be having. So here I can create add DSC. So member type I may enter phone number. So DSC, each DSC will have its PAN. So I'll mention the PAN. DIN number if they have. DSC who has the DSC. DSC expiry date. And DSC password can be mentioned. So here you can see who has the custody of the DSC, and in the log you can create more logs. So in case, for example, this DSC is with CA and the client has taken it back to them, so returned on say 9th it was returned. So it will show here now it is with client. So again, if it is brought back to CA office at DSC log, so it will show received date. So maybe it was received on 13th. So when I come to DSC, it will again show as CA. And it will show here expiry date. So these are all again color coded. Red means it is already expired. Uh, Yellow means it is expiring within 90 days. And green means you have more than 90 days expiry period. Next, we'll come to accounting. So in the client master data, you have already added the bank account numbers. So here you can add the bank account statement of the client and do the accounting here itself. So if I say add, select the client, select the bank account number, this will be auto populated from the master data. So in case there are more than one account of this client, it will be mentioned, it will come here in drop down. You can download the template here. So the template is very simple, just transaction date, transaction particulars, amount, and debit or credit. So in the same way, I have already prepared the template. So date, uh, the description, amount, and debit or credit. So I'll add this account in my AuditFY account. So bank template, I'll select and submit. So it will come here. So it will show the start and end date. So you can keep a track of till when the accounting is done, and you can view here. So when you view here, it is showing as unknown because it is not yet classified. So when you click on this, it will show here the description. So supposing these are all my sales income. So I can classify these as my sales income. If I don't have the account that I need, I can again go to settings, client, in the bank I can add pattern, so that is add my account. So I'll add. So when I come to my accounting, it was 2021, so I will take this. So I can select all because all are my professional receipts, and I can mention professional receipts, apply. So it will apply here, but it will still not be taken for final submission. So you can click on submit. It will come and sit in professional receipts. Similarly, I'll apply for all. So these are all professional receipts. So month wise, you can check and add those. Supposing in this only the two transactions were say other income, I can add them as other income. Only those are added as other income, and I can check the unknown ones and select them, classify them. So they're all classified. Same thing with payments. So these are bank charges. I can select them. These are say if it was telephone expenses, I can add them. Same thing here. Okay, these are bank charges. Say this is salary. Maybe this is professional charges. These are all accounted here. For the month of March, similarly, I can do. So all my bank receipts and payments have been classified here, and you can see the receipts and payments account also here. Now one more feature that we have is based on this you can download a XML, download tally XML here. This XML you can import in your tally by clicking on import option, and your bank accounting will be done there itself. So same ledgers if you have in your tally, your accounting will be done there. So you can keep a track of all your clients receipts and payments here, and as well as you can complete the banking accounting entries in one go. Next we have assessments. So in assessments you can keep track of all the pending cases. It may be just a notice or assessment reassessments, all such things, maybe GST audits conducted by the departments, etc. So to add new case you can click here, add new case. You can select the client, you can select what which department this pertains to, whether it is from officer, appellate or tribunal or CPC also in case of income tax. Jurisdiction, you can mention officer name if you have, department address, officer number, email ID in case you have, and which staff is handling this you can select. Pertaining to which year you can select financial year, assessment year. In case it is GST or PT, sometimes the notice is received for just 1 month, so you can select the period or you can leave it blank there. Notice reference number, whatever DIN number you may have. Notice section, under which section you have received the notice. Notice description. Notice date, supposing today I have received the date, and when is the appearance. So in the notice they would have mentioned say 15 days or 1 month, uh, whatever it is mentioned. So when is the due date for appearance? This is the first appearance that it is asking. So submit. Again here the list will be color coded. uh, those assessments which have been overdue will show in red. Those assessments which for which the appearance next appearance is coming up within 3 days, it will show in yellow, and more than 3 days it will show in green. So for example, supposing I had received the notice and have already appeared for this today itself. So document submitted, maybe a covering letter, along with that say financials, where copies were provided, and sample invoices. Whatever you have submitted you can mention here. Discussion points. So generally for the first submission, it is documents submitted as per whatever in the notice is mentioned. Appearance date, maybe today itself I have appeared. So appearance next. So once you have submitted, the officer will say come after 1 week and meet me again. I can mention the next due date, or maybe say the officer told me no, you come on Tuesday and meet me again. So I'll mention here the next appearance date and submit. So when I come to assessment, it will show me it is due for appearance in the next 3 days. In case it is closed, supposing this case is closed, I will update the status. So document submitted, maybe none. Discussion points, submissions of the assessee accepted and no additions made. Appearance date, say I had gone yesterday and it is closed. If it is closed, you can see the closure order and see put the closure date, and any comments. So assessment closed without any additions. So any whatever comments you want to mention, you can mention here and submit. So this will move from your list of current assessments to closed assessments. So here you can keep a complete track of all your assessments. So here you can see department wise or jurisdiction wise. So sometimes you are say you are visiting Yeshwanthpur PT office for some purpose. You can also see which other cases are pending in the same department and in the same building or same location, and inquire the status and come. So your staff also can find it easier to uh, visit the departments within time. Again, which staff is handling the case, which staff has created the uh, entry here, which financial year, all these things can be checked here, and all the logs of the case can be checked here. So these details are also available on your dashboard as I mentioned in the starting. So here in the assessments, again same color coded wise it will be available here. Here closed cases will not be visible. For the closed cases you have to go to the application itself. Now I'll come to workspace, workflow. So here there are work cards that you can create for your staff. So in case I have got a new audit assignment, suppose. So I will say for this client I have got an internal audit which is being handled by Prabhudev. So I'll mention this is the title of the card that you want to create. So internal audit, maybe you can mention period April to September 2022 maybe. So description you can give. So whether it is new work assigned in progress, you can mention here. So I'm already assigning it, so I'll mention it under assigned. Which label? So you can check here and add the labels in case it is required. Due date. So you can set the due date for your staff. So maybe I want to finish this by 31st January. And priority, whether low, medium, high priority, you can click. So it will be added here. So based on the priority, the color will be added here. So here again you can filter the pending works by client or by the staff or the label, whether whichever TDS are pending or maybe GSTR1 are pending, all those things. And you can select more than one card also, one label also here. So PT as well as, or say I want to check GSTR1 and GSTR3B monthly, I can see here. Again, these categories you can change the order in settings. So in settings you have workflow category. So here you can add category and change the position, which position you want it in. So your staff can also see what the details of the tasks are. If you want to add any checklist, you can add checklist here. So maybe for TDS filing, you have say collect data from client, then check all tasks for the challan, whichever is there. Uh, Create RPU file. So as and when your staff is finishing this work, so as and when they are finishing each task, so data collection is done, they can select it as done. All task is checked, they can select it as done. So the exact status of the work can be viewed here. Also your staff can enter the timesheet here by clicking on this. So how much hours or minutes they have spent on this card can be seen here. So supposing for example I have spent 3 hours on this work today. So I'll mention which date, how much time in hours and minutes I can mention. So 3 hours, maybe 10 minutes. 3 hours, 10 minutes I'll select. What is the work done? Uh, so whatever the staff has done in that 3 hours, 10 minutes, they can mention here. So on this particular card, whatever the staff has worked on, the log will be available here always. So they can enter the timesheet through these cards, and the timesheet can be also viewed here in timesheet report. So here again you can select user wise and client wise. So this is basically like a pivot table. You can take user this side or uh, take them this side, whether you want them as a sub category or main category, you can select it. So these are all the options available in the current version. So we have other versions coming up. Example, dividend calculation, mass generation of 15 CA files, XML files, or JSON files now to upload in the income tax website. as well as financials, as well as we have dividend calculations as per Companies Act and Income Tax Act, as well as with your deferred tax calculations. So in the dashboard you have complete summary of all your work. So how many clients you have, how much compliances you have filed, how many to do lists are still pending, and all your UDINs, DSEs. UDINs are available. The latest one will be in the at the top. DSC's assessments are color coded in the same way. They will be displayed here. And your billing, how many proformas are pending to be received from clients, how many invoices, and what is the collection during the current financial year.